Hi, welcome to Indispensable Appraisers podcast. I am Jeff Hicks with Realwired. Thanks for joining. Today we're talking about bank and fee appraisers relationship. So I talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of commercial appraisers throughout the U.S. on our Datacomp Suite appraisal product. I also talk to a lot of chief appraisers through our UConnect appraisal management platform product and through some other organizations such as FIVA. So I hear both sides of the fence relative to the relationship between bank and fee appraisers. But I do think there is a little bit of a disconnect. If I did a survey recently where I asked the question, do you think commercial appraisals, the quality has declined in the last 10 years? And it was 50% thought that it did decline. You could argue 50% thought it did not. But the majority of people that voted on that was chief appraisers. So if you have 10 chief appraisers, 5 of them thought the quality was declining. That is very inconsistent with how I think fee appraisers feel, that they work hard, they provide a great quality report, and it takes a lot of time to do that. So I think with the discussion of this topic between bank and fee appraisers within the framework of the 4Ds, the first one is define the relationship, right? So chief appraisers call their appraisers vendors. That's just part of their regulatory vendor management. And a lot of appraisers, and again, I'm speaking primarily of commercial appraisers for this discussion, they say, usually with a negative connotation, yes, I do bank work. And I use air quotes because the fees are competitive, it's a reluctant client base for them. And I think that is a huge opportunity to reframe that relationship. Right now, you can tell it for those firms that do bank work that the workflow is really far off. And, it's impacting the revenue of appraisal firms throughout the country. So now it's almost that relationship of maybe I shouldn't complain about having a bank as a client. And I do agree you should never have a client that you complain about. You should get rid of that client or service them well. Kind of riding the fence between, yeah, I do bank work. No, I think to reframe is redefine the relationship. So from the fee appraiser side, I would no longer, if you're going to do bank work, do it well, right? Use technology, use software, use process to provide a competitive product. I think the frustration comes in with the firms that don't effectively, consistently throughout their organization use process and technology consistently where they can deliver a solid appraisal with a competitive fee. On the other side of the house, on the chief appraiser side, defining the relationship improvement would include actually talking to your appraisers. I think for many chief appraisers, it's been a long time since you've talked to your fee panel and just a touch point, right? Things might have changed for that firm. Maybe some of their key appraisers are no longer there. Maybe they retired. You don't really know. So getting to know the appraisers and having a kind of a reach back of redefining that relationship that you have with the appraiser. And the second D is document. What does each other bring? On the chief appraiser side, through vendor management, you can specify, okay, this appraiser is good at these property types or these geographical competencies. And on the fee appraiser side, getting back to the define the relationship, I think it would improve the dynamic if fee appraisers were a little bit more honest on what they're really good at. Checking every box, like you're good at every property type under the sun. You're probably really good at a few of them. And maybe geographically, outside of a certain area, you might not be as good as somebody else. So have that frank conversation, document really what each other is good for. On the chief appraiser side, I wouldn't pigeonhole somebody so far down that it's like they only do evaluations. Well, I'm sure they can do more, especially in a time where if you're looking for the best quality, it starts with who does the best work and where, right? So I would also The third D is demonstrate. How do you demonstrate this quality to each other? And I don't mean sending sample reports, but I think it comes from honest conversations, right? And to say, as a chief appraiser, you might say, hey, I looked at the last 10 reviews that you did. I say let's say 7 out of 10, great job. 2 of them, I thought they were kind of average. And one of them, wow, you just kind of missed the boat on that. Why is that? And I think it's a good conversation to have, because sometimes there is inconsistency and there may be a reason for that inconsistency. I don't think appraisers purposely drop the ball. I don't think they try to miss things, but there's also a mutual mystification, right? Fee appraisers see this long engagement letter and they just kind of scan it looking for any extra things they might have to do, like insurable value. Chief appraisers get frustrated going, can't you read the engagement letter? It's right there, right? So what's that disconnect? And the disconnect is the clarity per customer. Not all chief appraisers are the same, right? Some really want the fee appraiser to talk about how does the subject fit in the market. Others want, I don't know, a more detailed discussion about that the analysis is more solid, more discussion of the adjustments. Whatever it is, it needs to be communicated to where the appraiser knows, oh, okay, that's right. For this bank, I need to make sure I do A, B, C, and not do D, E, F. On the chief appraiser side, clearly communicate your expectations, as opposed to using vendor management and then isolating your appraisers geographically or by property type so narrowly that you don't have a lot of appraisers to choose from, right? So the third D is deliberate practicing, right? So taking the time to learn what each other, their sweet spot is. So as the appraisal owner, find out and listen to ask the question, first of all, what is the one thing we can do better? So I think by fee appraisers asking their chief appraiser or their bank clients, what is the one area we can improve on? That's a very solid, important question to ask. And the same thing for the chief appraiser. Where's one area where they can improve, right? You might be surprised, since the chief appraiser is the client, but at the same token, you do want better products, better appraisals on time, even before they're due, that go through the reviews quickly. So how do you do deliberate practicing is to say, hey, Jeff, I mentioned these, da, 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 da. Can you improve on these areas? If not, let's have a conversation on why, or why these things are important. You may even want to rate the relationship, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you put my firm and these appraisers? And you could rate the bank. Hey, dealing with your reviewers, maybe it's a 10. They're very professional, they're very thorough, but fair. Or you could say, wow, I think you've got a couple gotcha reviewers, and I really don't like doing work for your bank because, I don't know, somebody keeps asking for more and more support, and it adds to the fatigue, right? So I think if we do the wiggle, what great looks like through the 4 Ds, define the relationship, document, demonstrate, and deliberate practicing, I think we can improve the dynamic, because it does need improving. Again, if 50% of appraisals are perceived to have declining quality, and yet appraisers feel the opposite, like, wow, I want to say fatigue, appraisal volume's down quite a bit, but I do think there is a reluctance to provide great appraisals for the banks. And what I mean by that is, if they're concerned about reviews, if they're concerned about comments, if they're concerned, they're going to strip away some of the value. They're not going to talk to the reader about some granularity that might be important to evaluation. Is the subject property always in average condition? No. But did they skirt the deferred maintenance discussion because they don't really have support for it specifically, but they know there's going to be X amount of dollars to address certain things? right? Do you allow your fee appraisers to be honest and be subjective and say, hey, I don't know the exact cost of X, but typically in my experience, it goes from here to here. We estimated that, right? A little bit more freedom for appraisers to deal with the gray area that sometimes comes into appraisers. And on the chief appraiser side, having reviewers that can thread the needle and have an honest conversation. That said, from the chief appraiser side, I do get that some appraisers feel that they're the Moses evaluation. They come down from the mountaintop with their valuation tablets and going, here's the value. They don't communicate quickly and professionally with the reviewers. They have a arms crossed attitude. As a fee appraiser, I think you need to lose that or just don't do bank work, right? I think that's an old attitude. I think it no longer serves your client, which is, hey, guess what? Chief appraiser. So again, I think the 4D framework can really improve the relationship between the bank and the fee appraisers. Define their relationship, document, demonstrate, and deliberately practice. I think that can really improve the quality of appraisals. I think it'll improve the happiness of the appraisers that are providing the appraisal work, right? They'll feel good about doing bank work, and it won't be in air quotes anymore. It'll be reframed to say, I'm very excited that X% of my workflow is with banks, and I have great relationships with them, and they can call me anytime. And if there's a review question, I am happy to address any questions because maybe I didn't put it in the appraisal. On the chief appraiser side is having the staff that can have those conversations, that can be professional and carry that conversation to have that balanced discussion going. When they both get off the phone, if it feels it's a great relationship, right? So, well, thank you for joining me. Hopefully that went somewhere. I'm not sure if it landed for anybody, but it always bugged me that the fee appraiser and the chief appraiser relationship represents a very high percentage of a lot of appraisal firms' revenue, and they see it negatively. And I think we can change that dynamic with using the 4D framework. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.